our little after party. 15 seconds.
Yes.
15 seconds. Here we go.
Nice.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Army Lifestyle Live discussion. Woo! It's our little after party after that awesome concert. My name is Dani. My partner in Purple Crime is here today.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
And today we're throwing this after concert party with May.
Hi, everyone.
A Canadian-Filipina TikToker. Supporting BTS alongside her also Army husband. A social worker specializing in working with Indigenous youth in the foster care system. Funny, passionate, adventurous, and bleeding purple are just a few of the things to describe her. Please welcome May.
Hi, everyone. That was quite an introduction. Thank you.
Of course. We're super excited to speak with you today. And before we dive into the conversation, I just want to let everybody know that our Q&A chat room with May will go live right after this little party. So feel free to comment, ask questions. She'll be right there to answer. So how about we get started, Nicole?
Let's do it. So before we dive in, can we talk about the Permission to Dance live concert?
Can we?
Oh my God.
Please. Go ahead, May. Tell me what ran. You always have something on your mind. You always got something to say. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, you guys already know I'm sleep deprived. So I think the concert started 2 a.m. my time and then ended at 5 a.m. Woke up early, whatever, yada, yada. I was literally screaming from like 2 to 5. The fits. That's like the first thing that came into my brain. I was like, the stylist? Like, I just want to thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. They looked amazing. Jungkook.
There was so much skin, almost swallowed my tongue. You have to understand the slight panic when I thought that chain was a belly button ring.
Oh my God, me too. I was like, what is this about? What is this about? Why are we doing this? And then Jimin with his little button, I was like, what's the point of the button? Just get rid of it. You don't need it anymore.
You know that the stylists are just used to it and they probably like triple, quadruple thread through that button.
Right.
So many times.
If it was up to Jimin and Jungkook, they would have been like, we don't need this. And the stylists were like, you might need it.
We might. The Army will be very attentive.
Yeah. Blood, sweat, and tears, fake love. I lost it with blood, sweat. It was a little snippet. It was a little teaser, and I was like, oh. And then it was over. It was like a blink of an eye. And I was like, okay.
Like, I was so happy for any new armies that never really got to experience it live. I was so happy for them. Oh, and on that just reminded me, both of you are Tay biased.
Oh yeah, we are. Okay, we're just like besties now. We are.
Just walk me through it, May. Nicole, and you can chime in. Walk me through that message that we got right before concert.
The message right before the concert?
Yes, regarding Taehyung and his
performance. Oh yeah, okay. What was it? He had a calf injury, and then you can tell that he wanted to, but you know what? Him sitting on that chair, I almost called it a throne just now because that's literally what it embodied. I was like, I could have watched him sit there for like 4 hours. Same. He looked amazing. He killed it. The tattoo? The tattoo, I was like, please tell me it's real. It's not, but like, no, but that man, you know that he wanted to perform. Like, even just hearing everything, like how they were like debriefing towards the end. But I think that just shows with BTS if he's like, they're real like team players. Like, I don't know if you guys are like Laker fans, but my husband is. And he always says BTS has Mamba mentality, meaning like you get it done and you recognize that people are paying to see you. It's going to be either their first times, it doesn't matter. So like we need to put on a good show. And like not a lot of artists do that. So even with Tay being injured and sitting on that chair, like he was so engaged. And I don't know about you guys, but every time like the camera went to him, it was like, you felt it. Like I had a reaction, right? Yeah, so I was kind of like, you know what, like I know he really, really wanted to, and I hope he sees the messages on like Twitter, on TikTok, on wherever other platforms BTS looks on, and see that everyone appreciated him. Because like the last thing I would want is for him to be like, damn, I could have done better. But it's like you did the best, not even the best you could. You like surpassed it given the circumstances.
Exactly.
I've seen other occasions where they kind of sit back and they're just like vibing, but he's over here really trying to do blood, sweat, and tears, sitting on the chair and everything.
I know. You could tell he really wanted to stand up and dance with them. It was so sad, but he did amazing.
He also looked fine as hell.
Very honest, of course. We got to mention that. We can't forget that little detail, of course. And as always, it just always warms my heart that whenever this happens, where someone does need to sit out, they still, you can tell each member has them in their back of their minds, even during hard choreo. You'll see one of the 6 that are dancing just break character and just go over to talk to him, and no one planned it. You can just tell it's genuine. They want to make sure everybody's having fun. 7 forever.
7 forever. 7, yeah.
We should start our own gang sign. Like,
oh, that's backwards. I gotta do this. No.
Okay, if I go like this, is the 7 correct to you guys?
No, it's backwards.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, got it. We got to start with. This video has been sponsored by BTS. One day, okay.
Please,
one day.
Please.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for that. I'm really glad that all 3 of us had fun with it. I'm sure you guys watching had some too. So make sure to express it in the chat. Alrighty. So let's get started, May.
Okay.
When and how did you discover BTS? And go ahead and tell me what that was like.
So I guess in relation to time, I guess I am considered a baby army. I am definitely a pandemic army. The pandemic was hard, right? Like it was a tough time. And I knew about BTS. So the reason I got into it is my niece, who's 15, she was like trying so hard to like get me into it. And you know what? I was just a fool. I was just a clown. I was like, no, like it's not for me. It's not for me. And she would show me interviews and I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then I specifically remember it was like probably after like it was like their comeback. So just like right after right before the quarantine started, I started watching them. I think it was on Jimmy Fallon. I can't remember, but I was watching them perform. And I remember being like, I'm just going to learn their names. That's what I said. I said, I'm just going to learn their names because they're funny. And I remember like giggling in their things. And I was like, that's funny. I learned their names. And then I like learned their birthdays. And then I learned their star signs. And then I learned their compatibility with my star sign.
Your name.
My husband too. We were like in bed and I was like, look at this I was like, Tay is a cat. Anyways. And that's when I knew I was absolutely doomed from the start. And you know that their content is like a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, it was hard for me, like not financially, but I had some other stuff going on in my life. And even though I do social work, I've never gone to therapy, but I had to go at that time because that's just how tough it was. And I'm telling you now, like BTS was like a saving grace. And I was like, every day I would just be like so happy. And I can't even pinpoint what it is. Maybe it's like the genuineness of it all. Like nothing really felt like fabricated. And for me to say that, like, I know that they are a business and I understand that they are part of this like bigger system. But if something's good for you, it's good for you, right? If it's not like harming you, it's not harming anyone. And I was like, BTS has like this message. It was like, okay, they're hot. Yes. They're talented. Yes. Funny. Yes. Relatable. Yeah. And then you just get into their little, oh God, I can't even I'm losing words. But that's kind of how I got into them. And then as I got into them, I was very surface level at first. And then when I started getting involved in like TikTok and like learning more, I was like, there is a whole community behind this. And there is like a whole lifestyle and there's this culture. And I'm just like, what is this? This is crazy. And I, till this day, I'm still trying to like learn it and like figure it out. But it's powerful. And I've seen more good things than I have negative, like very, very small in comparison to like the good that goes out there. And I think that's incredibly rare. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. And I know we're going to talk about it more later, but it's definitely played a role in my line of work. So there's that. And I don't know if we want to like go into that or
we'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get there. That's how I got in. That's how I got into them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes,
well, yeah. That brings us to our next question. So you have a video where you mention how being a fan of BTS has helped you in your job and helped connect with the youth. Can you talk about what you think BTS has been a source of comfort and inspiration for some people?
So you mentioned before that I do social work and I work with Indigenous youth in care. So when I say that, kids in the foster care system, and I work for an Indigenous agency. So any family or child that identifies as someone who was here pre-colonization, those are who I'm talking about, and they are overrepresented that's the word, yeah. Coffee. In the foster care system here in Canada, especially. So a lot of what these kids have gone through is, it's heartbreaking. Like anything you could think of, these kids have gone through. And my job is to help kids transition out of the system, because by the time they turn 19, it just cuts off and you don't have anyone, right? So when we talk about trauma, these kids have had trauma. And when I became a BTS fan, I'm telling you, like same thing I'm sharing with you guys, I had my own trauma that I had to deal with, but I thought I was alone in that. And I don't think I thought no one would really understand except for my husband, like how BTS has like made me feel. Like I thought it was silly at first that I connected with them on such a deep level. I thought it was a fandom, a fan base, like, boy bands, yay. But then I met these kids and I got a BTS tattoo here. I have I can show it. I have the love yourself heart there. And I just got that for myself. And then one day I went to work. I had to meet with this one kid who was like incredibly, incredibly shut down. Would not talk to me. And that's fine. Like these kids have so many professionals in their lives. And then near the end of our meeting, like I'm trying to, engage with her, try to see where she's at. And she goes, by the end of the meeting, she hasn't said a word to me. And then I'm putting on my jacket and she goes, is that a BTS tattoo? And I was like, why? And she's like, I love BTS. And I was like, I love BTS too. And she told me that she had tickets to go to Toronto. Her foster mom was going to take her. She came down. She had all of the dolls. She brought all of the albums out. And you know what? I was like, scrap the meeting. I'm going to sit here and talk to her for an hour. And we just talked about our biases. We talked about our favorite songs. We talked about this. And it was like super fun. But then after that meeting, she texted me later and she goes, okay, May, I think I'm ready to have another meeting. Like, can we meet again? And I was like, yes. And then believe it or not, that happened with three more kids. So I was like, what is going on here? Like, I did not understand the magnitude of how far BTS reaches. And I hope that they understand one day too, that like, they've saved lives. Like these kids that I work with they have like suicidal ideation. They've got incredible trauma, mental health, grew up in whatever. And like BTS is like that one, it was the only thing that could get her to talk. That was it. That was like her source of happiness. And I was like, this is wild. This is crazy. And this is how we connect. So I'm almost like, I should add like BTS assessment on my tool of like paperwork when I'm meeting kids, because you never know. It sounds silly, but I literally told my boss that. I was like, do you know who BTS is? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, I'm going to include it in some of my questions when I ask them. I found like 4 Army kids and I've had the best relationships with them because of it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I I think some people may have at the beginning misunderstood what Namjoon was saying when he said use BTS to love yourself. I think some people took it as something toxic, like just obsess over me and be happy, sadly.
Yeah.
But over these last few years, I can tell that people's eyes have opened up to its true meaning.
Yeah.
That if, for example, with you, if BTS is the step needed for that child to progress towards something better,
Yeah.
what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. So I'm very glad to hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the social worker is a TikToker.
She is.
She is. You use TikTok to frequently talk about BTS in funny and relatable ways. How has creating videos on TikTok helped you connect with other armies? Because we saw how it connects in your work life. What about over in TikTok?
Oh man, you know, what's funny is I'm actually going to the concert with a friend that I met on TikTok because of BTS. And as I was saying before to you guys, that I've been part of many, many fandoms. I said, I'm a self-proclaimed fangirl. I don't know how to like anything casually. I never have. And I've never found this like source of community or this like ability to connect with people. And I don't know if it's because maybe other things are more surface level. And then when you really get to know BTS, you can kind of really dive into who you are sometimes and the experiences that you have. I don't know, maybe it is surface level for some other armies, but I frequently find that, especially with armies that are my age, like it says a lot about us. We do a lot of self-reflecting because of the things we see with BTS and how we connect with them. But I've made so many amazing friends, like so many. And I think a lot of us are actually going to go meet up at the concert and, you know, try to hang out outside of it and maybe grab some dinner. But yeah, the people find you. Like if people gravitate to you, they will message you, they will interact, and you will create relationships that as intimate as you possibly can through social media. But I know social media relationships, like they're seen as superficial, but in this day and age, like you can really, really get to know people. And like, especially with the pandemic, if it's showed anything, like we need this connection when everything else is limited, right? So I think finding, like, I don't even call them army, like they're just friends at this point.
Aww.
They're just friends. And I'm like, they're just really, really chill people that I'm like, you're so cool. And I literally can say that I would never have crossed paths with them if it wasn't for BTS.
That's so sweet. Nicole is actually the one that introduced me to you a little bit. She's she's a veteran fan of May.
Yes. And I'm also a pandemic army like you, so
perfect.
And I don't know how long I spent just flipping through your content because so much of it was. Are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing at my content. Sometimes I put it up and then I like reflect on it, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
You're so funny. Well, oh my god!
Thank you for leaving it up because it's not often I come across another adult army that knows how to be goofy without being shy about it. And like you talked about, there you have the bit about how BTS at the club would be.
Yeah.
And I'm a Namjoon stan. So thank you. She said taste.
Yeah, okay.
And you were talking about how he would be, and I was like, yes. There's a bit where you talk about how it wouldn't work out between you and Namjoon, and I'm like, she gets it. I too love him as a nature boy, but I am not a nature girl. For him, I will do it. Like, absolutely. Me and Nicole were talking about this. Anpanman is also our twerk song.
I love it.
I twerked to it at concert.
Good. You should.
I'm wondering, is 21st Century Girl your body roll song by chance?
Absolutely.
Hey,
I think for all of us, yeah.
I knew there was something. And I think finally the last one that comes to mind is I was watching you talk about the boy boy in love aesthetic. I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope she's not gonna poop on my parade. And she's like, you guys call it cringe. I'm like, here she goes. She about to agree with that. He's like, this looked like all the boys I loved in high school. And I'm like, we're getting a coffee sometime. I don't know when, but we're getting a coffee sometime. May gets it.
I get it.
And then, you know, transferred over to Nicole, and she's like, ooh, can I third wheel? I'm like, girl, three-way date. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's talk about all the toxic high school boys that never liked us back.
Exactly.
Okay. I talk too much. Go ahead, Nicole.
Okay. I was gonna say one of my favorite videos that you did, it was one of the recent ones that you were talking about how just because you have a K-pop obsession does not mean that you're behind in life. And that was so relatable because I have so many people come up to me like, you're almost 30 years old. Like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? What are you going to do with your career? Like, I can do whatever I want. I can love whoever I want, and I can still be somebody in life. So that TikTok really hit home.
No, I got you. I was like, where is this? Like, to me, that mentality is just like really misogynistic. Like, if I like get into it, right? It's like the idea that like in order to be happy or to have like a man or whatever, what a partner in life, even though it's not like, it doesn't have to be exclusively a man, the idea that you have, as a woman, you have to be at this standard and be like these things, and you can't be a certain way. It's just like, where is that coming from? Like, because you like BTS, you don't deserve to pursue your career or to get an education or to find someone that treats you right. Like, I don't see how those things have anything to do with each other. So, and I see a lot of that. I see a lot of it on TikTok. Yeah, I see. That's my wedding photo up there. That's BTS right here.
I love that.
You see? Oh God, I don't know if you can see it. That's me getting married, and then that's my other 7 husbands right there. So tell me I can't have it all. You can have it all.
Yeah, you can.
I remember I was talking to somebody, and I was like, okay, time to check your macho level, you know, in the sense like, let's see if you're machista. Yes. I slid it in there because he says he likes concerts. Like, okay, maybe I'll invite you to one of my concerts. The red flag presented itself as, okay, as long as the fan base is an 80% girl. I'm like,
oh no.
You just offended me 37 different ways and you don't even understand why. Aside from offending the men I love, aside from offending women, aside from, and he said little girls, first of all. So aside from being ageist and all that, if your brain is so close-minded, I have every right to be like, Namjoon wouldn't do this to me.
No.
Right. No.
Absolutely not. And you know what, even going up on that, when like I hear Army say that like, oh, BTS has kind of like made my standards in men impossible. I'm always like, it's not impossible, because what you can do is see men like Namjoon or see men like Yoongi or Jin, and you have to look at the attributes that they have. And like, if you want that in a partner, then that's not an unreasonable standard to have.
He's a human being.
He's a human being. And I was like, why wouldn't you want to find someone that's like Namjoon, that's like caring, that's smart, that's a good leader, that can take care of, like, you know, things like that. I'm like, if you think those are high standards.
Exactly. I think one time I went crazy. I was like, Namjoon's washing dishes. Oh my God. And you know, you get people who are like, I can't believe you're obsessing over him doing a basic thing. And I'm like, see, that's what you don't understand.
It's not basic.
Literally in this world, to an extent, my bar is at the floor. Be a decent person. And somehow men or any jerk out there decide to pick up a shovel and dig.
Yeah, like, dig it even deeper.
He's like, he's washing dishes. Shouldn't that tell you something? Can you please wash dishes?
It's more than that. It's more.
Girl, does your man wash dishes?
I am not allowed to wash dishes because he does it a specific way. And if I wash the dishes, he goes back and does it again because I did it wrong.
Oh my gosh.
To all of you young people, old people, anybody part of my cane gang, as I like to call it, It's possible.
It's possible.
It really is.
Namjoon would be proud of you, May.
He would be. Damn.
He would.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, so we were talking about this earlier. So when you became an ARMY, how did you navigate the millions of different content and music surrounding BTS?
Okay. So this is what I did. So not only do I not know how to like things casually, I have like FOMO. I have fear of missing out. Even if I don't know what I'm missing out on, I'm like, there's something out there and I need to be part of it. So I like compiled a list of like all the things I could find online of content that BTS has done. And I like sorted it. And I was like, this is what I'm going to go through next. And this is what I didn't like sleep. So I did run BTS. And I think they were already like close to the hundreds or maybe the hundreds of episodes by the time I was ARMY. I did it in like 3 weeks. I just like didn't sleep. I went.
Me too.
Yeah. And I went hard. I went hard. And that's what I mean. So like when sometimes people are like, oh, do you remember this? You remember that? And I'm like, honestly, I'm going to have to go back and watch it again because I just needed to get through it and to be like done. But then I do it. I like binge it all and then I go back and I like try to find like the little Easter eggs and the little like cute moments that everyone talks about. But in the moment, I'm absolutely like, please don't talk to me. I need to get through the content. I'm still not done it. I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm realizing that I will never defeat them and they're always going to win. So I'm just like, and plus it's like, as you get on with ARMY, it's like, as like being ARMY, it's fun to like discover new things. Like there was a moment where I was caught up on Run BTS and I was like, I kind of miss like going back and like watching things that I've never seen before. So I don't know if that's like a healthy way to navigate it all, but that's what I did.
Well, some people will say, take your time. It's okay. Get your sleep. But
People like you and me, like we can't chill.
No.
But here's the thing that you and those people have in common is all you got to do is just do it.
You just got to do it.
So even if it's slow or I guess for you liking sleep, that it's okay, whatever your speed.
They both work. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. And I honestly, the pandemic didn't help because I'm like work from home now. So I'm like, that's okay. I'm just going to roll out of bed. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of content, and I'm still working through it. But like I said, it makes it fun now. And I think I've toned down a bit and I'm like, okay, I can breathe. It's all very in your face at first. And if you have FOMO, that's when you need to just like get it done as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are so impressive. Like it takes me so long to catch up because I am not good with secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
So let's, for example, there's that Run episode where they're police officers and robbers. And I cannot tell you how fast I threw my phone across the room when they stopped the music as he was doing like a slow hip thrust. And I just threw the phone. Like I'm so bad with secondhand embarrassment. I'm there giggling, rolling on my bed, looking dumb. But like they're not even looking at me.
Yeah, that's why I won't watch American Hustle Life.
Oh yeah,
I know what it is. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I can't do it.
You got to prep yourself.
Yeah, I can only do it.
Okay. You mentioned that you're attending the concert. Congrats. Congrats on surviving that Ticket fiasco. How do you feel about it? I know me and Nicole got a few things to say. We'll hype you up. Go.
Okay.
Yes.
Your demeanor changed.
Is it that obvious?
I'm excited now. Tell me, give me all your thoughts.
Girl, okay. So this is what happened. So my niece had Map of the Soul tickets. So she got her pre-sale code. My niece is literally, she's like turning 16. She was in school by the time like the tickets were supposed to go on sale. So she's like, Auntie, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, baby girl, I got you. And she was like, okay, I'm just warning you, it's really hard. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean it's really hard? Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
It was like, not only was it like, oh no, your tickets have been like sold, or like you select one, someone selected it over you, but not, my whole screen just went like white and it just said error. And I was like, this is not part of what people warned me about. This doesn't even say Ticketmaster anymore. What is going on? So I just had to navigate it. And like, it got to the point where I wasn't even selecting anything anymore. I was just saying best seats for the amount of tickets that I had and selecting and selecting and selecting and selecting. And finally, like an hour later, I got some. And I'm telling you now, like I almost cried. Only because like if it was for me, yes, I'd be pissed. But because I was buying for my niece who like, she's OG Army and stuff like that, I was like, I cannot let her down. I can't let her down. So I had to get that. And then when I got the tickets, you know, everyone's like, oh my God, congrats. I was in a mood. I was like, it was like I drank like piss and vinegar or something like that. Like for a whole like 2 to 3 weeks, people were like, how was it? I was like, don't talk to me about it. I was like, do not. No. I was like desensitized. I was like, yes, I'm excited to see them, but like that was traumatizing. So I wasn't happy for like 3 weeks. And then I booked my flight and then I got really excited. Then I like lost, yeah. So I booked my flight and I was like, let's go and stuff. So I'm happy again, but up until that moment, I was like, no.
Was this, Nicole, was this also your first shot at tickets?
Oh yeah, I spent months trying to research videos on YouTube, just trying to see how the whole Ticketmaster thing works. But no one was prepared for this. It was insane. Oh my gosh.
Did you guys get tickets?
I did, yeah.
I didn't. I have great friends that did for me.
Amazing.
Okay, cool. That's great.
But I understand your frustration, just as someone that hasn't missed a single tour that they've had since 2016. Ticketmaster really done screwed up, like for real. I had my map of the soul and everything, so you can imagine. I'm happy for everybody that got tickets because it's nobody's fault except Ticketmaster. Mm-hmm. But you can imagine my distress when I had these available for me, and as soon as it pops up in front of me, everything that's like VIP is absolutely gone. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt in my mind that they gave access to the sellers, because you can look up this information for anybody who's interested. You can look up this information. Mm-hmm. Scalpers work with Ticketmaster. They do. But it had been a long time since I went through like I cried the first time I tried to get tickets and I didn't manage. And then I cried harder when BTS surprised us with a second date and then I got tickets. But when I got those Mott's tickets, there was tons of seats for me who was like VIP. There's tons of seats. So all of a sudden for that to disappear didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, for the fourth day to come around and all of a sudden the tickets that didn't exist. Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
So I will be patient and hopefully I can get the tickets that I was hoping for. Mm-hmm. Because you would think VIP would not be sitting in the 500s.
No. Yeah, that makes sense. And I also know that like, because that's where like a NFL team plays. So season ticket holders for NFL teams have their own relationship and access to the stadiums. And that's just fact. Like I've accessed other, like whenever I watch sports, it's the same thing. So that's like beyond BTS or Big Hit or anyone's concern. It's just Ticketmaster, the stadium, and the season ticket holders. And I
hope our lawyer armies come through.
Right? I'm like, come on.
Hopefully, please help us out.
And I'm glad we got some, honestly.
Thank you. What date are you going?
I'm actually going on December 1st.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll see you there.
What about you, Nicole? What day?
I may have tickets for all 4 shows, I guess.
Girl, I got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, if we're okay, I didn't know like if people would get mad, so I'm actually going to day 2 also.
Okay, cool.
No, this is what happens when you have friends, you know.
I was gonna say, day 2 is the one I'm going to with my TikTok army friend because she got some, and then the day 3, December 1st, is the ones that I bought.
Ooh,
So let's go.
you got
Let's
4,
go.
Nicole. You gotta teach me your ways. I got 3. Like,
I spent days just staring at the screen, and then like you may, like, I spent days and weeks just like zoning out. Like, I wasn't excited until like probably like this week, I guess, when I saw last night's concert, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
Nicole wasn't happy until this morning.
Yeah, until it started to hit me that I was gonna see them, because like that whole thing just like messed with me so much.
of course.
Um,
And I think everybody thinks that we're probably gonna all be front row for all 4 days. No, it's not possible.
Absolutely.
I didn't get a single VIP.
Me neither.
Ridiculous.
All right, go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, so there are many fans who will be attending the shows from all over, including myself, Puerto Rico. So what are some tips you have when it comes to planning a trip for a concert?
So I think, especially for so I've been to LA many times. I just got back from LA. I was in LA last week for my cousin's wedding. In this pandemic, please, if you are flying from a different country, you need to know what requirements you need to get back. It's different for every country. So, and also for every state. So California is not the same as if you fly to New York. And you guys got to do your due diligence, because the airlines will not let you on if you do not have your requirements or your negative COVID test, whatever it looks like. And there are also different types of COVID tests, right? Like there's rapid, there's PCR. You need to know all of that. So that's number one, because that's your number one stress. If you deal with that, you're Gucci, you're good.
You guys can pause the video right now and take notes.
Please.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Please do. Make sure the timing is correct too, because you got to wait for the results to get to you, but please do your research. When you get there, so even though the shows are listed as Los Angeles, it's not in Los Angeles. It's in another city called Inglewood, which is 30 minutes away from Los Angeles, but Los Angeles has the worst traffic in the world.
Yeah.
The absolute, like, I'm not even joking, you guys. It's horrible. So when you're looking for accommodations, you're looking for things to do, places to stay, remember in relativity where the concert is, where you're staying, and where LA actually is. I would look at the various neighborhoods as well. Like, for example, the Line Friends store. I know a lot of people are going to go to the Line Friends store. I went. It is in the middle of Hollywood. It is where, like, the hands are on the ground and, like, the stars are everywhere. It's the heart of it. There's no parking. And if Jimmy Kimmel decides to, like, do a show, they shut down that whole front.
Oh.
So all your options are overpriced underground parking, which are limited, or Ubering, which is expensive, or finding neighborhood parking and then walking, but again, also limited. So you got to do your research. And also my biggest thing too with LA specifically is I've had some people who have never been, and they got their accommodations in downtown LA. Again, it's not close to Inglewood. It's not close at all. They don't have a good public transit system in LA, so you need to look at your transportation. And you have to also know what areas are unsafe. Because in downtown LA, you are in like a block radius away from Skid Row. And I really highly recommend that you do not go there. And there are just some other areas, so just do that research as well. If you can, try to reach out to, like, I mean, they can reach out to me. If you guys want to reach out to me, you absolutely can. I'm not a local, but my cousins are from there, so I kind of have that insight. But if you can find a local army that's from LA that can give you these tips, please reach out to them, because the last thing I would want is for someone to like get stuck in like 3-hour traffic, or to end up in like a really dodgy hotel or whatever, or to go to the Line Friends store and like not realize how hard it is to get in, or the location. So really do your research on where everything is in relation to stuff, because it's not an easily accessible city unless you have a car. But there's also 10 million people that live in Los Angeles, so take that into consideration too.
You got that, Nicole?
Yeah.
I got you, Nicole. If you need to message me, message me, but it's
Please. Yes.
Yeah, and that's all like really good grown-up advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right, exactly.
You guys don't be afraid to reach out to like legit armies, maybe someone you've been talking to for a while. If you're 15, maybe don't just rely on someone else who's 15. Not to say that they're not immature, but reach out to your fellow grown army too. Someone that you can legit say they're for real. They've posted pictures. I've seen them go to concerts and stuff like that. Because although this is fantastic, the idea of the army experience is really exciting and seems very like purple clouds and rainbows. You would be surprised, especially if this is your first time, how many people actually hunt us down.
Yeah.
Whether it be for scamming or taking your stuff. But people know who BTS are as much as they want to say they're irrelevant. They definitely know who army are. And you don't want to be alone in an area where someone is well aware that you're here for the concert and they probably know that you got money on you, just as an example. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming alone, nothing wrong with it, but definitely a good idea to meet up with somebody. Totally recommend it. Nicole, I got you.
Yes, please, let's meet up.
Yeah, okay. And we've made some really good friends on social media and stuff like that. So if there's any events or any meetups that are happening and there's enough people attending, go to those meetups. Like they're usually happening outside. Like obviously make sure they're like you're age appropriate. So if like adult army is meeting up and going to a bar and you're like 15, then sorry, you can't go.
No, that's awesome. That was actually going to be my my next question. You are actually following my little string. For example, Faith currently is actually working on meetups. Oh. It's to be discussed. We're working on trying to figure out how to make it as safe as possible, very reliable. But let's continue with what you were talking about, because my question was essentially going to be, do you have any ideas on what you think fans can do to meet up with other fans before the concert? And maybe we can put our 3 brains together to figure this out for anybody.
Yeah, so for those who haven't been to LA, they have a really like the K-pop scene is quite big there, like bigger than most cities, right? So they have a whole Koreatown, and like there are like 10 K-pop stores on the block, and like it's very normal for these cafes and restaurants and stuff to do BTS events. I'm almost positive that you will find something that these actual establishments are putting on. And that can be a good starting point to see like the details of it, who's attending, how many people. Like, I'm sure it's going to be fun giving out like freebies and like maybe some cup sleeves, whatever it looks like. But I would start there. Like, I think people are really going to be taking advantage of the fact that so many people are coming to see BTS that they're going to create events. So that's kind of how I would start. And also with like big, like for example on TikTok or like big personalities on Twitter or whatever, if they're advertising something or they're doing their own things or they're, creating like a space or a Discord where people can like meet up with each other, you can absolutely try to navigate that as well and see if that's something that you want to do. But I feel like there's going to be an abundance of opportunities for you to meet Army in person, at least in the 4 days, like if not the whole week. So it'll be really exciting. We can brainstorm. I can't figure it out, but I know that there's going to be like, there's quite a lot of establishments. Like the K-pop store that I went to was just like the only one that I went to in Koreatown, and they had like flyers everywhere of like Army meetups. They're going to do like a permission to dance challenge outside the Rose Bowl, like all these cute things. And I was like, what? Like, I've never seen that in my life. And it's just like plastered everywhere. So things like that, look out for that.
Yeah, Nicole, I saw you get all excited. Nicole knows the choreo to Permission to Dance. So the way her eyes and she looked so emotional when you said
I'll be there.
Also, guys, if you end up going early, don't be shy to ask somebody for help too. Like our first, me and a friend, our first concert, we just kind of stood there, not really knowing what to do. And we just saw these 2 people that kind of looked about our age, and we were correct. And we just told them, hey, this is our first time and we don't really know what to expect. do you mind guiding us through it? And you know, less professional than that, a bit more gangster, but like, and they were, you know, with my Bay Area
I got you.
accent
Yeah.
lingo. Yeah, did I mean? Anyway,
I got you.
they were like, yeah, for sure. Actually, we were gonna go stake it out to see how it is for today because we're going to the next concert. Blah 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 blah. And we hung out with them all day. They showed us where to eat. We follow each other on Instagram. One of them is a mom, and it was just really cool. You'd be don't be surprised that a lot of the armies are very much willing to help you out. So if you really feel like you just couldn't figure out finding the stuff online, even if you're a little bit awkward and a little nervous about approaching somebody, you will feel at home in no time. If you just ask maybe someone that looks like they know what they're doing.
True. It's true.
And if not, if you'll find somebody that's as lost as you'll be lost together and you'll figure it out. You're in this together.
You won't feel as lonely.
No.
Shoot, hit one of us up. I'm sure under
Exactly.
the video when this is up, you can contact each of us to know a little bit more.
For sure. So speaking of the concert, what are you most excited or I guess looking forward to the concert?
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm really excited about the set list. I don't know, like I was unsure if yesterday's set list is the same set list as what they're going to perform in concert. I don't know. But it was a good set list. So there's that. I call myself like Ratchet Army, meaning like I really like songs that like you can like throw it back to, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I love my Blue and Gray, but like I can get sad on my own. It's fine. But like, so I really like Home is like my favorite BTS song. Like Home is my favorite, and I actually love all of their old stuff, like their whole School Love Affair, like the special edition. Like that's my favorite. So I absolutely lose it when like BTS in their like older stage sing their older songs. Like I lose my mind. So I think if they do that, like it's also like so up in the air. Like if they do that, I might like absolutely sob or like jump off the balcony. I don't know. I'm like scared of who I'm gonna become at the concert.
Me too.
This band will know a whole new side of us. I just know it.
I'm like terrified. But anyways, I'm really excited about the set list just because like I love their music, but there are definitely songs, like especially songs that like sing in Muster, like Love Maze and stuff, where I'm like, please. I don't know if they will. I won't be upset if they don't. What else am I excited for? Obviously the fits. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be all like Ratchet, but I think I might also cry a lot. So there's that. And yeah, I don't really know what to expect. I think I'm gonna be really like just pulling up to SoFi. I flew over it when I was in LA because it's really close to LAX. It's huge. And I saw like the parking lot and like the front where everyone would be. And I was just like, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be crazy. And like energy, like I feed off of a lot of energy and I just know it's gonna be like buzzing like the second we get there. So it's like I'm kind of just excited to just like get there and to just like just be in the moment, because right now everything's so like up in the air and I'm like not sure what to anticipate, and like I have a little bit of anxiety about it too because I'm like, what if it's not as good as I thought it's gonna be? But I know that voice in my head is lying, so there's that.
Oh wow, you guys are in for a special treat. You can be in the nosebleeds, and I promise you, you're going to feel like they're talking directly to you. You can tell from outside that they're talking to Army wholeheartedly. You're gonna love it. I guarantee you it. Definitely worth my money. I hope knock on wood. Hope, but I'm surprised that they're not more expensive compared to other people. But
I agree.
Yeah. I wouldn't pay $250 to watch someone sit on their chair and play a guitar. If someone gets offended, I literally am not thinking about anybody. So if you got offended, you went to one of those concerts, okay?
I was gonna say, you're mad. You mad? You paid that much money.
Yes.
Oh man, that's kind of where I'm at with a concert. Again, I've just gotten excited about it like recently, so I'm kind of like the emotions are like hitting me in the face like each day that passes. So
Waterproof mascara.
oh,
Waterproof
yeah.
mascara. I guarantee it.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
So since we're getting a little emo, how has BTS been an inspiration for you?
Ah, man. So BTS, I don't know if I said it on here or if I said it when it was just us, but like that whole idea of like Mamba mentality, meaning like the great late Kobe Bryant always had this drive and this force to him where he recognizes his role, he recognizes where he's like who he is as a person in society, and I feel like BTS has that. And me and my husband were just talking about this like a couple days ago, is we were just like, they're so real. Like they're so real. And even if there's a little voice inside of me that's like, maybe they're like curated to be real. And sometimes people argue that when they're talking about BTS, they're like, you don't know them, but at the same time, I'm like, there is literally nothing in them that promotes any sort of like negativity or hate. So even if it is, let's just say, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say that is fabricated, what's the problem? Because they're putting out way more positivity and okay, like, and what about it, right? So I think with BTS, like, I don't know. I think sometimes when they're vulnerable, I really, really like that. With the line of work that I do, I don't like to be on all the time. Like I don't want my brain to be on. I really need to learn to like set boundaries because all day, every day, I'm dealing with trauma. I'm dealing with, basically counseling, and it's a lot, right? So sometimes when I see BTS being like super vulnerable and the way they speak, I know that they're being like cared for. Like I know they have someone on their side that's helping them with their mental health. Like I might not know the details of it, but just the way they're communicating, I'm like, okay, no, they have someone there. And then it just inspires me to like be there for someone else that's like struggling as well. But I try to keep it separate. That's why like I could have gone the mental health route on TikTok and made that kind of content, but I was like, no, sorry, my dog is in the way. But yeah, I was like, I just kind of, they're my break. They're like my self-care away from work. But then when I am indulging in their content, I'm like, I need to be like them, or I need to remember that like, it's okay to have struggles and it's okay to ask for help. And so as someone who's on the professional side of things that needs to be there for those people, it's like a good reminder that like, it does go a long way. And you're not going to fix people. And that's another thing is like, no one needs to be fixed. You just need someone to like listen to you. And yeah, that's kind of how like they inspire me.
That's beautiful.
That's such a great answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking about this earlier. What would you say to people who often criticize older fans for standing BTS?
I don't know what to say about them. I'm like, there's something deep rooted if you are like coming at someone for age. It's like, again, like I don't want to get too much into it, but it's very like misogynistic that like women have to be young and they can only like things when they're younger, and when they're older, they're not allowed to be like fun anymore. Like that's not the day and age we live in anymore. So, and again, we talked about it too. We are all like months and weeks away from how old BTS is. So I think we can relate to them. I think there are so many older fans because we can relate to them in a way that you might not if you're not in that same place in life, Yes. And it doesn't matter. Like, it just comes with experience. Like, if I was 15, 16, I don't think I would have understood BTS as much as I do now as like a 28-year-old. So I don't know. I can't really like explain it, but like it doesn't bother me when people say it. And I really hope that other adult army can find it in them to be like, this is just projection. Like, I'm not sure where it's coming from, but anytime someone comes at someone, I think it's more of a reflection on them than it is you. So sometimes when they're like, oh, you're older and stuff like that, it's like you have to take a step back and like reflect on your life and look at all the things that you've achieved while liking BTS. And then those words don't really mean anything anymore.
You're absolutely right. And even then, I think even we've gone a long way in the last few years. I love seeing younger armies be very supportive of us.
Yeah.
Like we talked about how you're 3 months younger than Jen. I'm 3 months older than Jen. You, Nicole, are 2
weeks older than Jen. Yeah.
So we're all like we're all there.
Yeah.
So we're about the age of the oldest.
Yeah.
But and we all find this common ground. Like we've almost been talking for an hour, and we've just been enjoying each other's company. And I would expect that a lot of young people that might be watching are just enjoying it as much as us. But it baffles me that even though there's young people that are like, yeah, I love my older army, they still seem to always be surprised that we come from different walks of life, such as yourself.
Yeah.
You are a social worker that works with foster care. Nicole, tell everybody what you are.
I'm a freelance public relations specialist and a social media manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do.
And I'm an office assistant that works with the Spanish community to not only prepare their taxes, but also any legal work that they might be too afraid to bring to the government, just because it's a community that's afraid of the government. Right. And currently, before tax season, I have a really cool friend that hooked me up in a job where I basically interview older adults to make sure that they're getting the care that they need or believe they deserve. Different walks of life, but we're doing what I think other people would think are pretty cool things, while still being like, not Jude,
That's what I mean. I'm like, you can, again, it goes back to my TikTok. I'm like, you can absolutely achieve anything and not compromise things that bring you happiness, whatever that may be. Like, if there's an idea of what's supposed to bring us happiness, that's your idea. That's not mine, right? Like, and I talk about it all the time too. I was like, I know grown ass men that like cry over Tom Brady. And they get so heated over like sports. I like sports, don't get me wrong, but why is it acceptable for a man to be okay with that? But then when it comes to us, it's like, no, you can't do that, right? And it's like, I'm not entirely sure that makes much sense, but it's a double standard for sure. Because I also think that army who are like that identify as men get put on a higher pedestal too. They're like, wow, you're a man and you like army? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love my husband, but the reason I have a lot of followers to begin with is because people like watching how him as a straight cis man reacts to BTS. And they love it. They absolutely love it. But I don't get a lot of hate, but I will occasionally, like, I can think of 1 or 2 times where someone's been like, you need to like focus on your marriage. I'm like, you don't think I'm focusing on my marriage? Okay. But like, things
Are
like
you
that.
even married to be saying
right? Things like that? It's a lot of double standards, and that's what it comes down to. Is like, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Doesn't matter what you're obsessed with, whether it's football, BTS, whatever. We are people, and we need hobbies, and we need things that fulfill our lives outside of working. And like, all of our accomplishments don't have to be what society tells us it is. Like, we're all like clearly all doing okay. Like, we're fine. So BTS has never really hindered or gotten in the way of things, as far as I can tell.
Well, exactly. You keep finding the good in, I guess, tough situations as far as being an army. Right. So let's focus on the positive. What do you love about the army community?
I love how absolutely inclusive it is. And, I do find myself, I do get a little afraid to talk about hard things, but it is my job to, like, one of my mottos in life is it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes when I find that ARMY is more receptive of not criticism, but like, for example, if something scandalous or something happens with BTS, there are some armies that are like, no, they're perfect. But then there are also other armies that are like, yeah, but this is like somewhere where like they can grow and they have flaws too and stuff like that. From from where I stand with ARMY and like the friends that I've made within the fandom, they're also receptive of that. Like we can have adult conversations about things that are related to BTS without like wanting to like get at each other, you know what I mean? So I think that's like something that I really, really like I love, because if that wasn't here, I don't think I'd be part of the fandom. I don't think I'd be as involved as I am now if there was no room for criticism or places to us to have like adult conversations and to talk about tough things. And I really appreciate that, because you do have to talk about the hard things in life. Like we can't just sweep that stuff under the rug, right? So that's like one thing I really like. And I do love the inclusivity of it all. Like how you said, like I see the comments here and someone said like, I'm in my 40s and I learn from them every day. And someone was saying like, I know moms that are like really into BTS, and I have this one friend from Seattle and she's a therapist and she's in her 60s. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's literally no boundaries to any of this. And I think it's so cool, because in a place online where a lot of things are fabricated, I would say for myself, like I feel safe enough to just be who I am. And so far it's been good and receptive. I've never had to like lie about anything or hide stuff, and I share what I share is like very genuine in my life. And I think it's like it's unique. It's very, very unique. That's the only way I can like put it. I don't quite understand it, but I'm like, this is good. And I think that has to be a testament to the values that BTS have and the expectations that they have of their fandoms too, which not a lot of artists have expectations of their fans. And I think that's pretty cool that they can like be a voice and to kind of rear ARMY a certain way when things are getting out of hand. I think it's very responsible. I think BTS is very responsible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of positive things about it.
Awesome. That's such a great answer. So speaking of that, what do you wish more people knew about ARMY?
Oh, I think all the things that I mentioned. I think I would, maybe it's not more about like what I want people to think about ARMY. I wish that ARMY can find like a safe place in their life outside, like in their actual natural support system, where they can be safe enough and accepted enough to just love BTS as is, and to not have anyone like going down their throats or whatever, because it changes the experience. Like I'm very lucky to have a group of friends and a family and a husband that are like gung-ho about this, but I can also understand how this might not be as fun of an experience if you don't have that. So I think more like if we can like switch that, it's more of like, I wish ARMY, yeah, definitely find their people and their support network in this, because then they can be themselves genuinely, and then they can like, you know, live life genuinely and don't have to succumb to these ideas that like, oh, I need to stop liking BTS in order to like fulfill my career or to like get married or settle down. Like that's the outside world badgering them. And I think regardless if you're ARMY or not, you're going to get that. And the way to combat that is to have a solid support system. So I just I hope that people find that. And whether they find it at the concerts or on TikTok, online, whatever, that's kind of what I want for people and for ARMY. And then all
that's absolutely fantastic. That's why we were so excited to have you, you know, aside from being a fan of your videos. But you know, we're on the Fave team. And the thing about Fave is that we're working on creating a community where we don't have any backseat driving as far as being fans. On Twitter, you're gonna find someone's gonna sneak their way in. On Instagram, someone's gonna sneak their way in. And we were really excited to have you, because it was obvious through your videos that you get it. you aside, like you work with kids that need a safe place.
Yeah.
For example, so that mentality, it was very obvious to us that you can see that in other people as well, regardless of age, where they're from, their background, whatsoever. So we as Fave, we're working on it. So when you agreed, and you know, someone who is basically doing what we want armies to be able to do in our little app, we were like, oh my god, yes, she gets it. Like she understands that we want 500 Mays hanging out in a chat.
Right.
You know?
No, I get that. Yeah.
So I'm very so thank you. So again, so much for joining us. Is there really anything else you'd like to share that you want more people to know? This can be about the fandom, maybe your background, or something that we didn't mention but you'd like to bring up. The floor is yours.
Floor is mine. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like honestly a really, really open person. Like TikTok is not my like I don't get paid to do TikTok. I don't get paid to do any of that stuff. I do it because I want to. And I'm really good with my boundaries and stuff. But if people do reach out to me and they like need support, like I'm never gonna turn anyone away. I will always communicate what I can and cannot handle if someone reaches out to me, and they have. And I'm okay with that. So sometimes I get a lot of people that are very apologetic and are like, I'm sorry I'm reaching out to you, but I like need to talk to someone, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay with that. Like and I'm just communicating that here because like sometimes people don't have like the best boundaries, but I have okay boundaries. So I'm okay with having anyone that wants to interact with me and get to know me more. Please do. I'm like an open book. What you see is what you get. I say the same things to you that I'm saying to like my kids, and I do at a job interview and when I go to work with my coworkers. I'm the same person. So yeah, there's that. And I know I've chosen not to do so much mental health, like how mental health goes in with BTS, just because it's my line of work and I don't really want to be doing that on my off time. But that being said, I will have like a one-on-one conversation with someone if they want to have that. So there's that as well.
That's so sweet. Oh, what a nice way to end it. Well, thank you so much, May, for joining me and Nicole. It's been absolute. I had a ball.
Thank you.
Absolutely been awesome.
So
a reminder to you that joined us, or if you know, this is at the end of the video, so it doesn't make sense to be like, if you missed it. But this will be uploaded later if you chimed in late by any chance. But she will be live right now with Q&As on our Fave app. So you're more than welcome to get in there. If you want to ask her a question in 3 hours because you're about to have dinner, by all means. Yep. But this has been May. Thank you so much, May, for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I look forward, me and Nicole look forward to your future TikToks.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you at that concert.
See you at the concert. I'll be in touch with you guys.
Okay, bye.
Yes. Bye. Have a great day.